So I'm going to go through some basic things that you can start doing fairly soon after you give birth, as far as like working on rebuilding core and working on rebuilding that pelvic floor. As you know, giving birth is not easy. It puts a lot of strain on that pelvic floor, pushing that baby out. And even women who have had C-sections, you still have a lot of strain on that pelvic floor, because as you get towards the end of your pregnancy and your baby goes head down, they're putting pressure on your pelvic floor. Hence why we tend to have urinary incontinence towards the end of pregnancy, that type of thing. It's not just because baby's sitting on your bladder, it's because she is also sitting on your pelvic floor and stopping you from being able to control those muscles as well. So post-pregnancy, as far as getting active again, obviously always check with your doctor. But like my doctor, for example, cleared me pretty much right away, said activity as I feel comfortable, mostly because this is what I do, and she knows that. But if you don't feel comfortable just going into things, you should always hire somebody, talk to somebody who has the knowledge, like myself, a pelvic floor physiotherapist, anyone like that, who's going to give you a little bit more information on what is best for you. As far as what I'm going to be doing today, they are basic moves. They're also, I'm going to show you real quick how to even check that diastasis recti, how separated it is, and go from there. So we're going to start with that. So I'm 11 days postpartum right now. I still have a little bit of a pooch, but I realize I'm not the typical person. I also had my son early and had some growth situations towards the end, so I didn't get quite as big as even I was with my first son. So it's a little different for me, but it still applies as far as separation and that type of thing. So the best way to check is to obviously have your stomach out, because you're going to need to see it. Come into a knee bent position like you're going to do a sit-up. What you're going to do is you're going to bring your head up slightly so that those muscles are activated, but not so much that it's painful. And then this is just a self-check. If you want a true check, you should go to a professional, again, like myself, or a physiotherapist is even better. It's totally up to you, but the self-check at least gives you an idea. So again, you're going to lift up, and you're going to take your fingers. Most people will have that 2-finger separation. Even now, at this point, I can barely fit 1 finger in, and that's just, again, that's me. I didn't get as big. I didn't have as much of a separation. Some people don't really get much of a separation at all. It's about 75% of people do, but some people don't. So 2-finger widths is fairly normal at this point in post-pregnancy. So again, you're going to lift up, 2 fingers, back up, Michael. Place them here. If you're any more than 2 fingers, I 100% recommend going to see a pelvic floor physiotherapist. And again, at the very least, a personal trainer who has certifications in postnatal specialization. That's huge. So just make sure that you're doing that for yourself so that you can recover properly. So most people, again, 2 fingers or less is normal. You're going to have, as you progress further postpartum, it's going to come together just on its own, even without doing a whole lot of work to make it happen. So first thing I recommend doing is working on that TA breathing, which I've posted videos on previously. So we'll just do that again, reminding you what that TA breathing is. So remember, we've got those transverse abdominus muscles. Those are those ones that separated, then they're coming back together. And you've got that pelvic floor, that hammock that goes all the way around. Okay? So when we do our breathing, what you're doing is you're blowing up the balloon by breathing in. Ready? So that stomach comes out. And then as you breathe out, you activate those TA muscles and that pelvic floor. So you're pulling up as you're breathing out. You're bringing those muscles up. So you're starting not with just a Kegel, but this is more than a Kegel. So you're starting with that squeeze and pulling up and in. You should feel everything activate all the way up to here. So I'll just show you. So and you can see even as I do it, pregnancy, as is the case with most people, brings your low back, causes you to have this curve, right? So I'm 11 days. I'm still at the point where I do have to really concentrate to bring everything in and stop that low back curve. Otherwise, I naturally just do it. And that's something that is going to get re-strengthened over time as you rebuild your core. Remember, your core is everything from your back all the way around down into these glutes. Everything is core here. A lot of times we just think of those ab muscles, and that's not just your core, okay? So again, breathe. When we do that TA breathing, you're breathing in, blowing up the balloon, and out. Activating all of those muscles. So you should be doing this every day as much as you can. Whenever you're thinking about it, you could do it as you're sitting there breastfeeding. Forces you to sit up tall, right? It's a really, really good exercise, just basic to help those muscles reactivate, come back together, and re-strengthen. In my next video, I will do a few moves that are just there to again, bring those muscles all back together, but they're very simple moves, and they're a good gauge as to where you're at in the rebuilding process. If they are easier or they don't cause you any strain whatsoever, then you might be able to move up into the next level of moves. So we go through foundation moves and then phase 1, 2, and 3. So we'll start with foundation and move up from there.